The winner of the Giver for the year is Sunshine Monet.
Excuse me, give me that mic. Thank you. Anyway, first and foremost, I would like to thank myself for being amazing. Thank you, self. I would like to thank all the people I had to step on to get here, because you know, heat rises and a bitch is hot. I'm up to the top.
Let's nobody. Less Nobodies presents Unica Monet's first children's book, Show and Tell. Find out what happens when a teacher uses her class's show and tell time to give each student an opportunity to share some facts about the culture where they're from. Read with your children and discover that it is time for parents to teach young people early on that in diversity there is beauty and there is strength.
We sit with him and rest.
We rank, we claim, we train, we ordain to be something different. We rank, we claim, we train, we ordain to manifest intentions. Created in God's own image, reflections of eternal vision. Personified with my third eye, hidden from enemies on a mission. That's why I fear no evil. They bow down to my ego. Shout out, nobody's called me go. Got my heart full of calm and ego. 50 shades of letting me go. Coming through into Keto. Brand new turn of gray skies, blue 6-3, not abused, my view bonito. So gracious, this time and space, how I made it. We jump for joy, we elated. Disappeared with 50 gates and roof shot the ground, did nothing taken. Except what's my creation. Created, then donated. The culture's inflated, giving elevation and space is stagnated. Cause we healers over here. Over here. Breathing pillars, holding tears. Instilling us all 10 spheres. Inshallah, we attracting our mirrors. In our hearts, we blocking all interference. No new IDs is needed for clearance. Cause the mission reflect our intentions and let it rain on through our appearance.
Kids with your girl Sunshine Monet L. I hope y'all can hear me all right. For those of you guys who are tapped into Instagram, you guys can move on over to Twitter or YouTube or Facebook if you like, so you can see the full
presentation and the visuals and all that fun stuff, that's where I'm at. You guys can go search Less Nobodies. Or you could just stay backstage. Backstage is fun too. Backstage is where it's at. We are going to go through, we're going to start with yesterday, which was January 9th, and we're going to make it up to next Monday. This week in the cosmos is kind of quiet. I won't lie to you guys. It's been pretty quiet in the cosmos, but we do have a lot of oppositions going on with the sun. And for those of you guys who don't know what oppositions are, if you paid attention to the theme song in the show, you would have seen like the way the planets and the sun motion in space. So you have the sun, moving straight while the planets spiral around it, right? And what happens in oppositions is you have the sun, you have Earth, and then you have the planet there creating a 180-degree separation. And with that it's actually a pretty strong energy. It depends on what the elements are. And we're going to get into the way the elements come together and fall apart. But that's really what it's about. We can move into the next slide. But yeah, we got a lot of oppositions this week. This part of the presentation I usually get into when I'm doing personal readings, as far as what is a natal chart, what are natal charts and the planetary placements. When you're born, all living beings have an electromagnetic field, including terras of the universe. Terra also has its own electromagnetic field. Terras of other planets have their own electromagnetic fields, whether you believe in the 178 domes or the traditional ideals that we have been fed in the McGraw-Hill textbooks. Either or still has electromagnetic fields, and when they come together or fall apart, it creates new electromagnetic fields. Okay, and they actually have an effect on the chakra centers on self, because you experience all of these, electrons going around in space. Natal planet placements are the result of how one spent their past life, how you learn or you still need to learn. And these placements provide spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical tools for you to navigate through this life. Here at Less Nobodies, if you want a personal reading, I do all 3 charts. That's tropical, which is your mindset. We're talking about the imaginary lines of the 360 degrees and the 30-degree zodiacs. I also do sidereal, which is your heart set. We're talking about the planetary placements or the celestial terra placements in the constellations. And then we also get into the nakshatras, which zoom down to the actual star of things when we talk about the star and the actual energy of that star that's near that celestial terra. Peace. Thank you for tapping into the planetary forecast, y'all. So that's just a bit of a gist, but I usually get more in detail on this when I'm doing personal readings. If you guys are interested in having a natal chart reading, I do natal chart tarot readings, or I'll do just natal chart therapy sessions if you want to get into that. What I do is I take your natal charts and I chop them into your chakra centers. So all of your chakras have chakras that have chakras that have chakras. You are an infinite being. In addition to that, all of your chakras have a masculine and feminine side. So I get into that. I place your natal chart placements into your chakra centers, and we get into like the therapeutic, the motivational therapy aspect of our therapy sessions. And then I show you, okay, I see that, you've expressed this to me. This has been a reoccurring theme to me. So and now I'm going to show you where in your chakras or where in your natal chart, that experience is reflecting in when it comes to your cosmos and your natal chart. And that level of awareness has been very, very healing for people that have sat in on the therapy sessions. And I'm very grateful, for the trust. First of all, it's very honorable to be, that trusted person that people come to for their natal chakra readings and things like that. In addition to that, it's also healing for me, to be able to experience someone else's energy is always a healing experience, an experience of awareness, if I'm ever in the presence of that kind of energy in another being, etc., etc. It's always fun. I always love to add to my own algorithms. So as far as chakras go, you're an infinite being in your physical form. Your chakras have chakras that have chakras. Although we are in a physical form, each of our physical forms have mental, spiritual, and emotional, etc. selves. So you have a physical stomach, but that physical stomach also has its own mental, emotional, and spiritual self, right? And those are what we call like chakra centers. The spiritual selves of our physical parts are called chakras. They are the balance
imbalance of the self centers affect all of our other cells, including our physical. Out of our infinite number of chakras, we have 7 main chakras that we acknowledge, or you can get into the octaves and say we have 8 chakras, or you can get into the gates and say we have 12 chakras. But essentially, those are the foundation chakras, and we go outward from there because you are an infinite being, and your chakras have chakras that have chakras. So you just keep going, and that's very exciting. But an example I would give from that is like your gut feeling. When you have a feeling in your gut, let's talk about fear. When you feel fear, your stomach physically does things when you're in a space of fear. In addition to that, your gut can also speak to you, and give you that same feeling when you're walking into a situation, right? Like, oh, I just felt something in my gut. I don't think I should go here, because that feeling in your brain is associated with the same feeling, physical feeling you feel when fear or, whatever, what have you. So that is like the chakra, in your gut saying, hey, don't do this, don't go there, this is not a good place to go, whatever. And it's good to listen to, not just the physical aspect of when your stomach is grumbling because you ate something bad or whatever, but also to listen to like the mental and spiritual aspects of your gut as well. It's very important. Chakra actually means wheel or circle of life. They are connected to our main energy centers of the body. Deities, orishas, colors, frequencies, sounds, zodiacs, animals, herbs, etc. All living elements of this universe, the last and the next. The flow of energy in a chakra is called a Shakti. Okay. Brahmins or supreme energy is responsible for the release and function of one Shakti. The mystic aim is to make the collected energy at the root chakra, which is the coiled energy at your root chakra, which is your kundalini, and release it unto the Brahman's unconscious energy, and sphere 10 to sphere 8 of the Netaru. So all of those, religious, spiritual walks, they're all in alignment. It's just the vocabulary is a little different. And so when we get into this visual is showing you on my right, on my left, we're showing you the 10 spheres of life in regards to the Kabbalah, as well as astronomically speaking with the planets. When we get into the middle, we're just talking about the planets by themselves. And then when we get over to the right-hand side, now we're getting into the Netarus. But all this is to say that, like, in, Aboriginal cultures, I won't speak for other cultures outside of the ones that I study, but the mindset of that versus the mindset of paganism is that in paganism, they speak about the gods as if the gods are on the outside of them. They're separate from them. They are not them. But however, when you're speaking of orishas, when you're speaking of the Netarus, when you're speaking of, the 10 spheres of the tree of life, you're not talking about anything outside of yourself. You're talking about what's within. When we speak about these 10 planets here in the planetary forecast, I make the parallels of what's going on outside of us, but there are parallels to what's going on inside of us. And that's why I introduce the planetary placements and the movements and the things and the matter that I do, so that you can know that even though these celestial terrors are moving like this on the outside of it, it's also moving this way on the inside of us as well. That's why you're able to say, oh, it's a full moon, I know I'm about to behave like this. Or, oh, it's a Cancer move, I'm about to. Yes, because you are innately acknowledging the fact that these celestial terrors are within you as well. Even if not on a physical aspect. Well, they are inside of you on a physical aspect when you get into what parts of the body these planets and stars rule over. But also in an energetic aspect, in a nutshell. Okay. And so on this slide, we talk about the different chakras in astrology. Like I said, every chakra has a male and feminine, masculine and feminine side. Masculine is your outer self, your experiences, how you express, external self, your extroverted self, that's all that. And your external self is Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Capricorn. That's going from the third eye chakra all the way down to the root chakra. Your crown chakra is ruled by the universe. There is not one planet that rules the crown chakra. That is your gateway from your physical self to above that. Okay. The feminine side of your chakras from third eye down to your root chakra are Cancer, Gemini, Taurus, Aries, Pisces, and Aquarius. Okay. And then we get into the Vedic names of the chakras, the planets they're associated with, and the energy that it gives off. We also get into the elements, of the zodiac, so that you have a good understanding of the different elements, and just get into the mindset of how they interact with one another. I like to make a lot of Pokemon parallels, because I think Pokemon was the best way that they showed how the different elements interact with each other, from their different like attack moves and protection moves and stuff like that. And that's essentially how they move in this realm. And we get into that a lot when I do your natal chart therapy sessions as well. I'll tell you the different elements that are in each chakra, so you can see when there's a tug of war going on, when there's an imbalance. Is it usually the water energy that's imbalanced in this chakra? Is it the fire energy that gets overactive in this chakra? That way you could really like pinpoint when you're feeling certain things. And I will say, like, personally for me, it does work when I'm practicing it, when I'm in my mind going through and things. I'm not saying like I'm super healed and I'm at 100. I'm not. I'm still healing. I share what has been working with me. I share my knowledge that I have been studying for. My son is about to be 9. I've been saying 7 years for like the past 4 years. Meanwhile, my son keeps getting older. But I've been doing this for like 10 years now. Crazy. So like I share the knowledge, I share all my research that I've been doing the last 10 years, and also sharing, the techniques that have worked for me. And if they work for me, I'm not saying they're going to work for all of you, but some of you guys out there, it may work for you guys too. So, it doesn't hurt to give it a try. I tried traditional therapy and just didn't feel good, because it felt like I had to cover up a lot of the stuff that I wanted to say, because our culture was so different, because my vocabulary, my mindset was so different. I'm into like herbs and alternative healing and spirituality and cosmos and stuff. And this person wants me to be textbook out the DSM, hallucinations, whatever. And so like, I take my psychology knowledge. Like I do have the DSM. I have all my psychology books. I went to school for psychology. So like, I have all that knowledge, in addition to the fact that I do have spiritual knowledge and I have knowledge of alternative medicine. And that's what I utilize in these therapy sessions. I allow you to have, both of those worlds in one sitting. So it's always fun. Here on this slide, we get into astrocartography a little bit. Not only do I show you on the physical body where the different chakras are in the association with the planets and the dwarf planets. I think they're all planets. I think to say somebody's a dwarf planet is kind of like, but also getting into like the planetary placements across our Terra map as we know it. Because even the land that we live on has chakras. So we get into that as well, and that's a whole thing. So now you can get started into the root chakra of the outer world. It's cold. What's wrong with your eyes? I hope you feel better. Okay, so we're going to start with the root chakra, which is the Muladhara. Mula meaning root and Adhara means existence. So this is root existence. Hey, gang, ginger beer. Thank you. So we'll start with the feminine side. Well, first of all, the root chakra is located at the base of your spine. It has the energy of groundedness, discipline, order, boundaries, authority, survival of self, basic resources. This is basically the gate. I say, like, if you are a gated community, the root chakra is the gate. Yeah, that's Zeke. The root chakra is the gate, and it allows what comes in and what goes out there. That's the gatekeeper chakra. And right now, the overall energy, the planet that rules over the root chakra is Babalue, which we know is Saturn. And right now, Saturn is in Aquarius. Okay. In the 6th house, that energy being ruled by Capricorn energy. And so Aquarius energy is energy of detachment. It is the energy of rebellion, social rebellion, and things of that nature. With a lot of challenges being rooted in like that revolutionary energy. So for those of you guys who have been speaking out against different social constructs, different things, the way that been going, that's what's in the gate of things right now. That's where the gatekeeping energy is at. And that's cool. And it's in the sixth house, so it's dealing with your daily routines. All right. So that's where a lot of our challenges will be on the outside of self, starting to detach from different social things, starting to detach from different mindsets and social constructs is like a big theme right now in the root chakra. So on the feminine side of the root chakra, we have the Shango energy, which is Aquarian energy. This is Asar, self-knowledge. We're dealing with the first sphere in the tree of life, which is the energy of unity and power to be one with all. Over here in the Shango energy, we have Saturn, like I just spoke on, in that sixth house of daily routines. We also have the seventh house, which deals with one-on-one relationships and balancing and things of that nature. And then we also have Venus over there, which is Oshun. Oshun dealing with wealth, self-esteem, what makes you feel good, what does it look like when you feel good, all those different things, bonds of that nature and stuff like that. So on the internal self of your root chakra, you're dealing with the challenges of the social rebellion. You're dealing with creating new infrastructure, new structure. Now, if you're going against your self, your knowledge of self, you might feel like a strong pull or strong resistance, because Saturn is a very strong planet. Saturn is also a very aggressive and violent planet. So if you find yourself moving against, where, spirit wants you to be root chakra wise, you will feel a strong pull. A lot of this is in regards to your relationships that you have with other people, whether they be romantic, familial, business like relationships. It's a lot to do with relationships in this space. A lot of you, I guess providing, I won't say transformation because that's Pluto, and we'll get into the masculine side of your root chakra in a moment. But on the feminine side, it's a lot to do with, business structures and one-on-one relationships for the most part. Now, on the masculine side of your root chakra, what you'll be experiencing, we have Babalu A ruling that energy, which is associated with Seker or Ta, which is power and underlying structure. We're dealing with the third sphere in the tree of life, which is the energy of manifestation and creating. So now we're manifesting things, we're creating things with the root chakra, we're bringing things into physical form. And our experiences in our root chakra, we're dealing with this internally. We have Mercury, which is our communication, right? Decision making and patterns, and we know right now that's in retrograde. So it's slowing down so that we can catch up. We're being, so grateful for that type of energy as far as in the realms of manifesting those laws, that inner authority, and all those different things in your root chakra. You're going to be experiencing, re-experiencing, I'm about to make up my own word right now, but just like, going through certain patterns again, going through certain, experiences again, and all that, just to strengthen that inner authority in your root chakra. Just to show you, okay, we got to put this in the root chakra, we got to put this here, we have to have this law, this authority, etc., etc. All that has to go on. Pluto is also another experience that you're going to experience in the space. Pluto is the energy of transformation. Also, walking in your power is a big thing as well. Now, if you notice on these, I also have, in bold italics inside of parentheses, I have the sidereal placements as well. So I don't I don't move away from the sidereal. It's just very time consuming to explain both of them at the same time. But yeah, on the outside of stuff, we're definitely experiencing. Pluto is also in Babalu A, whether we're talking about the tropical or the sidereal chart. So that's cool. And they're both in the sixth house, so it's dealing with your daily routine, transformations in your daily routine, individuals in your daily life, etc., etc., is going to feel that transformation. And it's just like a sense of power coming out of that. Pluto also deals with power and secrets and unraveling and all that fun stuff. A lot of us have been dealing with death in our root chakras, whether they're like, individuals, we get a lot of, the matrilineal, elders, or the patrilineal elders, etc., etc. A lot of that is going on right now. The sun, which is our ego, is also sitting in our root chakra. So, your ego, self-realization, where you're finding your best self, all that is sitting in your root chakra right now. So experiencing this Mercury retrograde for what it is and saying, hey, this is me going through patterns again and given the opportunity, if I'm going to make the same decision or do something different or whatever, you know, and it's okay if you end up doing the same thing again. Sometimes you know, you were for certain you did it right the first time, so do it again. All that experiences, you know, once you conquer those and you get over those, yes, you'll find yourself in your best self. Also, your ego, it can also be a challenge in this space as well, as your ego can definitely get in the way of you experiencing these experiences, whether it be, you know, whatever you need to do in the patterns of Mercury, or whatever you are enduring in the transformations of Pluto. And the sixth house is also in your root chakra, which is dealing with your daily routines, your health, your habits, and all those type of things. So that's pretty exciting what's going on in the root chakra. The next chakra we have is the sacral chakra, and this is where your being is established. It's located below the navel, above the pubic bone, and this is the vibes of generosity, luck, wisdom, pleasure seeking, joy, expression, creativity, sensual energy, and sexual energy. Okay. Obatala is actually the ruling planet of your sacral chakra, which is Jupiter. Right now, Jupiter is in Aries in the 8th house, ruled by Pisces. Okay, so you have that that energy of wisdom, of generosity, right? It's sitting in that energy of new beginnings, transformation is the 8th house, and Pisces is sitting in subconscious, your dreams, your secrets, that meditative spirit. And you can either utilize your sacral chakra to go with the flow of things, which I won't say a lot of people are doing, but it's just like the mindset of you're just doing what everybody else is doing because that's what everybody else is doing, or moving against stream, being that rebellious person. So that's the tug of war that's going on in your sacral chakra. Are you finding joy and wisdom and all that stuff by going with the flow, or are you going against the flow? And how is that going for you? On the feminine side of your sacral chakra, we're dealing with the energy of Mayat, which is universal love, law, justice, truth. It's the fourth sphere on the tree of life, which is the energy of balance, the celestial government, and obtaining the divine blueprint, right? That's Piscean energy. So the celestial terrors that we have in this energy, Neptune being one, Neptune right now, whether you're looking at the tropical or the Vedic chart, is still in Aquarian energy. So your subconscious is on that rebellious energy. Your subconscious is on solidifying things on the feminine side of your root chakra, okay? This is the tie between your sacral and your root chakra. This is how your kundalini is going to rise. You know what I'm saying? So it's, you know, when you meditate, probably a lot of the thoughts that come into your mind in meditation are probably affirmations of the root chakra, how to solidify some things, how to materialize some things that you need to put into your gate while you're gatekeeping yourself and your spirit, right? That's what's coming on to the forefront of a lot of people's minds. I'm not really into, like, you know, current events or anything. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna fake the funk. I just don't know what's going on. But if y'all know what's going on, and if something pop in your mind while I'm talking, feel free to put it in chat. But I as far as like me being online and seeing how everybody is moving, I see a lot of people talking about, oh, you know, 2023, you know, not bringing this with me, not bringing this with me, not bringing that with me, starting to do this, that, and the third. And those things are all affirmations of the root chakra. That's all gatekeeping affirmations, okay? Juno is also another energy in our sacral chakra. Right now, Juno is in the 8th house, the 8th house of transformation, stepping into your power, some secrets coming out in the space of things, whether you're the secret keeper or you're the secret teller. That's on you. Juno is associated with Hera. So this is the energy of bonds and contracts, wounds and loyalty. What do you need in a relationship to keep you there? That kind of energy. So a lot of people have been utilizing, you know, subconscious to align themselves with other people, places, and things. I actually got tagged in a video earlier talking about, you know, aligning my tribe, finding my tribe, that kind of energy. And a lot of that is coming from tapping into spirit first. You will notice that when you start meeting people, maybe the natal chart of the day that you meet this person, or you align with this person or create this bond with this person, you'll probably see a lot of Piscean energy in that natal chart, because a lot of our relationships are starting to be built off of spirit, off the subconscious, off of where are you at spiritually first? You know, a lot of people used to be like, oh, we're friends because of this, or we're friends because, now it's more so, oh, we're friends because our natal charts are like this. We're friends because, you know, our spirituality is on this level. You know, people are really trying to find their tribe and their spiritual village. So that's coming in that sacral chakra vibe as well. Vesta is also on the feminine side of the sacral chakra. Vesta brings on the energy of like your passions. Where do your passions lie at? Yeah, basically where your passions lie at. So this is like a passionate thing for a lot of people, as far as like, hey y'all, as far as finding your tribe, aligning with them, building with them. A lot of you guys wanting to go off grid with people, trying to make, you know, make friends, rebuild, you know, your family. I hear like the terms of new earth a lot. That's definitely a big vibe. You know, Vesta sitting in the seventh house of bonds and contracts and one on relationships and all that as well. Then we have the fortune. We start off the week with the fortune sitting in Piscean energy as well. Fortune energy is it's exactly what it sounds like. It's, you know, where generosity is, and right now it's really just tapping in spirit, letting spirit take the way a little bit, you know, learning how to let go of the reins. And the eighth house is also in this feminine side of your sacral chakra. You know, the eighth house is the house of transformation. It's the house of secrets and rebirth and stepping into your power. You know, this is the Scorpio vibe house. In addition to that type of energy, it's also like inheritances. You know, pronounce it right? Probably not. Taxes, loans, assets, all of that sitting in the sacral chakra, as well as your goals and joint, you know, ventures, shared finances, and then bonding with others on the deepest of levels. Like I said, the conversations as far as finding friends, building your village, you know, even down to like picking like education centers for your children to be in. You know, people are starting to be more meticulous with that and being more spiritual in that realm as well. It's getting to the point where like companies are starting to market to consumers from a spiritual level with spiritual music and concepts and visualizations and all those things. On the masculine side of the sacral chakra, we don't have too many energy there. We really only have the fifth house on the masculine side. That's dealing with the Obatala, which is Sagittarian energy. That's associated with Tahuti, Oracle, Sage, Wisdom. We're dealing with the second sphere in the tree of life, which is the power of knowing and manifesting. The only energy we have over here is the fifth house, and this house is associated with creativity and romance. This is the Leo house, so this is like the balance house, you know, on the seesaw going up and down. And at, you know, when you're tapped into your sacral chakra, most likely because the fifth house is over here, this is probably where you'll get a lot of your like eureka moments or your aha moments, if you will. The next chakra we have is the solar plexus chakra, which means it's Manipura, which is the city of jewels. This is located in your upper abdomen or your middle back. This brings on the energy of willpower, power, self-expression, self-esteem, courage, confidence, and energy. The shape is a globe, and we're dealing with the fire element here. Ogun is the celestial Terra that rules over your solar plexus chakra, which is Mars. Right now, it's in retrograde in Gemini in the 10th house, and we'll get into the prograde motions of the Terras momentarily. But right now, it is in retrograde, so it's slowing down, which makes sense because right now we're still in winter time. It's not really time to start like, you know, doing a whole bunch of everything, slowing down on your eating habits. We're still in the space of fasting and not eating as much. You know, our stomach gases and ethers and stuff slow down in the wintertime. This is not really our time. In addition to it being in Gemini, our solar plexus vibes. So like how I said in sacral chakra, right? That we're coming to find our tribe and we're being spiritual with it and things like that. Well, Gemini is the energy of community. So aligning yourselves and aligning, you know, your power cells with other people's power cells, that's also in slow movement. So, you know, don't feel like, you know, your tribe is passing you by, because that's not what's happening. The pieces are moving. They're just moving a little bit slower right now because we are in the winter months, and just on this hemisphere, everything is just moving a little bit slower because of it. I say Earth is in retrograde right now. And this is in the 10th house. So the 10th house is the house of aspirations and achievements and being your best self and being successful, whatever that definition for you is. And that 10th house is being ruled by Taurus right now. So, being your best self, of course, it's going to make you feel good. That's a given. On the feminine side, we have Ogun, which is in alignment with Herokuhudi, the enforcement of law, courage, and fearlessness. We're dealing with the fifth sphere in the tree of life, which is the enforcement of celestial government administration. Chiron is a celestial tarot over here on the feminine side of the solar plexus chakra. Chiron is the energy of how do you turn your wounds into a superpower, right? All the little things you went through, all the traumas you went through, how did you transmute those and turn those into something that make you stronger? And just some fun facts about Chiron, which is still sitting in Aries in the 8th house, as it has been since September 17th, 2018, and it actually will remain in that energy until October 19th, 2026. I'm sorry. So we have about 3 more years with Chiron sitting in Aries. It spends about 7 to 8 years in Aries because the celestial body doesn't just move in a circle, but it also moves up and down kind of, which makes certain stay in certain zodiac energies longer than others, especially if it starts going in retrograde, right? It's not in retrograde right now, but when it goes in retrograde, it'll go back up the slide, back down the slide, but it's still in that same zodiac energy. So it's 7 to 8 years in Aries. It spends about 2 years in Virgo and Libra energy. So we're just finishing out our 8 years over here. In addition to Chiron, which is our wounds being in Aries, bringing on new beginnings for us, which is a beautiful thing, transformation. Start speaking on your wounds. I'm not saying speak on them as far as speaking life into them, but taking the power away from them and bringing the power back to yourself. I read the 4 Agreements yesterday, and that was a really good book. And for those of you guys who didn't read it, one of the biggest parts is realizing that a lot of the dramas and traumas in your space is because you're making the conscious decision to agree with them. You're agreeing with, those mean things such and such said. You're agreeing with, the way society told you had to behave because, me personally, I'm a woman and I'm an adult and I'm a mother. So, you're agreeing with those things. So when you're agreeing with those things and they're moving against the inner agreements that you had when you were born onto this plane, because when you were born onto this plane, your soul already knew what it was here for, what it was supposed to be doing, how it was supposed to behave, etc., etc. But as you go throughout life and society, you get domesticated or trained or educated, which is a fancy word for being trained. You start taking on all these society agreements and you start getting rid of your own. If you are I'm almost out of my Saturn return now when I hit my 33. When you hit your Saturn return, you get to a space where you're not really trying to be bothered with going against your inner agreements anymore. It gets to the point with the Saturn return, because Saturn is, your root chakra type vibe. It gets to the point where you're not even allowed inside of yourself. And so you get rid of a lot of these agreements that you created. It's a lot. It's a lot. All that to say, Aries is in Aries with Chiron. Jupiter is also in Aries right now, which is fairly new in Aries. It entered in Aries a few days ago. And that's exciting. You have this energy of Tahuti, which is wisdom and generosity and luck. And it's pretty much what did we learn during Tahuti season when we were in Sagittarius season? What did we learn? How we're applying what we learned. And that should be assisting our solar plexus chakra. That should be assisting our ethers, our fire, and our abdomen. That should be assisting that. Peace. So, knowledge of self, knowledge of your wounds, knowledge of your superpowers, and how, some of you guys have really dope superpowers and you don't even realize how your wounds have assisted the growth of those powers, how your wounds have assisted in the muscles of those powers. And that's very important. So it's kind of this is a space of journaling, of reflecting, of naming your scars, naming your wounds, and taking back the power of that. going back to the initial agreements that you created when you came into this plane, and try to learn how to do away with the agreements that you had, absorbed throughout your journey here. That's not doing you well. That's moving you against your own internal nature. The ninth house is also associated with our feminine sacral chakra at the moment. The ninth house is the same energy as the Tahuti house. So like really right now, your solar plexus should be filled with knowledge. Knowledge, whether it's self-aware knowledge. The knowledge doesn't always mean you have to go outside of self and consume. You don't always have to go outside of self and consume. Reading books, watching videos, reading articles, listening to other people, all that is great. However, like I said, when you came here, you already had your own set of agreements. You already had your own contract when you came here. So, go back to your contract, go back to your self agreements. And a lot of that comes from learning inside of self. That comes from meditation. That comes from going inside. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? What are we doing here? Like, the past couple of days, I've just been practicing just talking to myself out loud, like having a regular conversation, because it's the only way I can get it out. That's been really helpful for me. And so, not to say, it's 100% effective. It might not work for you. You might feel silly, or it might, that's just my 2 cents. But, knowledge is on the menu for the feminine side of your solar plexus chakra, most definitely. On the masculine side, so like you have all that going on in the inside. So on the outside of you, you're still dealing with the energy of Hera Kahuti, and we're dealing with the 4th house. Okay. The 4th house, as far as your experiences and your power and stuff like that, this is associated with your home and your family. So, it comes back to like those one-on-one relationships and all that stuff that we was feeling in the root in the sacral chakra. A lot of our bonds, like, 'tis the season of finding your tribe, basically. 'Tis the season of fine-tuning your magnet, because this is the year that you actually are going to physically align with those people you should be physically aligning with. And that's important. And that's something that we all wanted. In 2022, it wasn't time yet. It was still more so like just dealing with self and cleaning house and, being aware of your energy. But now it's kind of like, what did we learn during Tahuti season? What did we learn during Obatala season? How are we utilizing that to fine tune our magnet and stuff like that? And that's exciting. In addition to this, when we start getting our planets to move into the 4th house, and I'll get into that momentarily, like what celestial terrors are in the 4th house. But this will encourage us to invest in our root chakra and creating more private and nurturing spaces for ourselves and each other. Coming back to like a lot of people wanting to build that village, go off grid, like I eat, sleep, and smell Arizona every day, like all that fun stuff. The heart chakra, which is anahata, means unstruck, unhurt, and unbeaten. This is located in the mid chest between the shoulder blades, depending on if you want to look from the front or the back. This is the energy of self-esteem, love, wealth, wisdom, compassion, empathy, and forgiveness. The shape of this chakra is the crescent moon. And if you guys look on YouTube, you guys can see the piano, the music notes and the frequencies as far as colors go, as well as sounds, the vowel sounds, blah, 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 blah. And this is why I feel like the word, getting into like sounds and vowel sounds for chakras, when you get into the different vowel sounds for chakras, like God only has one vowel in it, and that the way that O is pronounced, it doesn't really open up any chakras. So it kind of like, the last few episodes I've been trying to play around with, like, what do we call God? Like, because this word God isn't really like, I'm not really feeling it. So just getting into that vowel sound is a whole thing in itself. But Oshun right now is located in I believe we said the sacral chakra at the moment. Yes, it's located in the sacral chakra at the moment. And in the 6th house, daily routine. So learning how to apply, that wisdom and compassion Also, a lot of readers have been coming to people like, oh, wealth is coming to you, etc., etc. And that's a lot of because in the cosmos, in the terror of the cosmos, that's, what a lot of that energy is coming from, the heart chakra, being in Aquarian energy, being in the sixth house of daily routine, just being in the root chakra period is like materializing that energy. Oh, peace, peace, love. Thank you for tapping in. On the feminine side of your heart chakra, that energy of Oshun, we have the Neteru's Het Heru, which is Kundalini, sensual forces. We're dealing with the seventh sphere on the tree of life, the celestial workers, design workers. Uranus is a celestial Terra that's on the feminine side of our heart chakra at the moment. Uranus is in retrograde now, so it's slowing down, and that is the energy of progressiveness. I would say, you get, when you keep complaining to people about the same energy over and over again, after a while, they're like, what are you going to do about it? And they help you do something about it. This is like the rebellious energy, boldness, taking risks, spontaneity, new experiences. It could be a little unstable, a little, unexpected energy and scatteredness or whatever, what have you. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Uranus will actually be in this energy for a little while. We have Uranus in this energy until it started in 2019, right? And then we will have it in this energy until 2024. So we have some time with Uranus over here in this vibe doing what it does. Yeah, there we go. I know I had it written down somewhere. Yes. So March 15, 2019 to April 26, 2026. That's how long Uranus will be in this Oshun energy, which is pretty exciting because, if you think about what was going on in March 2019, you think about like COVID, and all the different things that COVID, we experienced with COVID, like having a different insight on how we, interact with one another. How do we find beauty? A lot of people were dealing with a lot of evolutionary energy and all that stuff when Uranus was in Oshun. Also, progressive change on how we obtained our pinnacles, most definitely, between the PP loans and the PUA things. And then now we have an infinite list of cryptocurrencies, all this different stuff, is a lot to do with that progressive, that strong, rebellious energy sitting in Oshun. So, that's been cool. And it's been, I know a lot of people, kind of upset, like spirituality is a fad, this, that, and the third. And that's because there's a lot of people who are not fully like evolved in certain chakras and certain areas of their life entering the community, but they have, new knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Allow them to enter how they need to enter and experience it how they need to experience it. That's not for you to dictate. And that's not to like water down people's spiritual journey as a fad or a trend. We're all spirits. We all are entitled to our journey. Some are more shallow than others, but it's okay. It's not that deep. And this is in the ninth house. So a lot of intellect going on, foreign energy. I know a lot of people have been, since COVID started, a lot of people have been opening up their mind to privatizing themselves, gaining their sovereignty. We had a period of time where people were moving out of the country, moving out of state. A lot of foreign interactions going on, especially when COVID first started, between countries and who did this and who did why, what, where. People elevating themselves intellectually because there was nothing else to do but read. Like newfound respect for libraries, definitely, because we could no longer access them for a little while. All of that, and that was very interesting to watch. To sit back and watch the different ways different people like absorbed what was going on and contributed to our elevation or pulling us back out of our elevation during this time, still being present, still going on. But it's still in retrograde, so it's slowing down, it's chilling out for us. Like, what, I ain't gonna do nothing too crazy, but yeah, we got a few more years. We got about 3 more years with Uranus in this energy, so ain't no telling where we'll end up by the time we get to the end of it. the true node is, we started off the week with the true node in Oshun as well. Now the true node is like the destiny, like what direction are we going in, what direction is our energy going in. And I love that it's in Oshun right now, the true node being in our heart. Earth is heart, and that's fun. It is heartbeat, is the heartbeat of the universe in my mind, the way I align the planets and things like that. um we are the heartbeat, how we collectively, vibrate, hopefully is in alignment with Oshun. Well, and honestly it is. It just depends on where your heart is. Like, everybody's heart is in different places. Some people's heart is in money, some people's heart is in love, some people's heart is in friendship, some people's heart is in success. But everybody's kind of like heart led. So it makes sense. And then the true node right now is in retrograde, so it's slowed down a bit. It's taking its time. But both of these energies are in the ninth house of like traveling and knowledge and foreign, usually like higher education, not so much as basic education, but more so higher education. Learning about like foreign countries and things like that, philosophy expansion, law and religion, learning ethics, things of that nature. And you see a lot of that the way Uranus has been moving, and the true node as well. A lot of people learning to expand themselves in that realm as well, and that's a beautiful thing. The 10th house is also in Oshun, so it's energy of your 10th house is like it is the midheaven house. But in addition to it being the midheaven house, this is the height of our success, our public image, professional aspirations, career achievements. Like I said, your heart, we're heart-led people. Our heart is the balance being to our seesaw of our upper and lower self. Earth is heart. So, that vibration is a big deal. And if you are following your heart right now, if you successfully remove the domesticated agreements in your space, and you're really like being led with your heart right now, which we know, 5th house, childlike self. If you're back into your childlike self, I definitely foresee a lot of success, because that's what we were here to do, what our inner child, wanted to come here to do. I wanted to do a lot. I want to do a lot. I want to be an artist and a dictator and and I just want to do a whole bunch of stuff. On the masculine side of our heart chakra is Oba energy, which is Libra. This is the Netaru Nethead. Again, same vibes, Kundalini, sensual forces. We're dealing with the 7th sphere in the tree of life, celestial workers and design and things. On the masculine side, on our outer experiences of our heart chakra, we have Ceres energy. Ceres right now is in Oba. Ceres is like what they consider like a dwarf planet. But like I said, I don't really do like dwarf planets. Is it a planet or not? But it's in alignment with Iris. And it's the vibes of nurturing, nurturers, more like a mom and daughter type of relationship. Agriculture and nourishment is being on the outside of self. I say like talking about more about agriculture, definitely. In this space, especially when spring starts, a lot more gardening, a lot more growing your own food and medicine, and hopefully marijuana and whatever else you're trying to smoke. If you want to grow everything you eat, you should grow everything you put in your lungs as well. That's something that I aspire to do. I would like to do. I will be doing. But that is the energy. A lot of more nurturing spaces for our people, like I spoke about, in our sacral chakra and even in our root chakra, creating more nurturing spaces, finding our tribe, that's definitely going to be on the menu in 2023. Finally aligning with these people. I know, a lot of people have been experiencing letting go of old energy of other people, places, things, and experiences. And I know they've been catastrophic because you can't see the big picture. But 2023 adds up to 7. The celestial workers are coming. 7th sphere, right? 7th sphere of the tree of life. And what I just say it was celestial workers, design, and working. That's the 7th sphere. That's where we're at now. We're in the masculine side of our heart chakra. So if you are being heart led, you're on the right path. Keep going. The 3rd house is also, the energy that we have over here on the masculine side of our heart chakra. The third house deals with our home and our community. Again, coming back to the Cancer energy, the nurturing energy. A lot of nurturing energy in our heart chakras, which is cool because after you get done crying with, Chiron all up in your sacral chakra, to come up here and be nurtured in your heart is a big deal. It's very important, and I'm here for it. This house deals with like communication and transportation, interests, habits, how you interact with your immediate community, which is like your neighbors, your siblings, your parents, people that eventually will be in that same level, like as far as tribe and your village or whatever. If when planets start traveling through the third house while it's in this space, you're gonna receive like important information about those networks of people. You'll be aligned with that network of people. This also includes activities, interests, the mind, how you think, communication devices, talking, thinking, as well as the voice in your head becoming more nurturing as well. Creating more nurturing spaces on your devices, online. A lot of you guys creating more nurturing podcasts and this, that, and the third. Pretty cool things. Your ascendant is also over here in the masculine side of your heart chakra. Your ascendant is your physical self. This is the body you're born in and your general temperament. Again, coming back to that energy of like your childlike self. The heart is the place for you to be back to, back to who you were. you know um some say like, oh, all babies are born with a clean slate, a clear slate. You're not a clear slate. You came into this plane with karma and dharma and brahmas and everything else, that you needed. It's just, as soon as you came into this world, you weren't transported through the mothership correctly. You got stabbed with a bunch of chemicals and a bunch of stuff being shot in your eyes and up your nose, and you spend the rest of your years getting, chemicals injected in you and being yelled at and told what to do until you were fully domesticated. And once you were domesticated, you were pat in the head and told that you were a good boy or a good girl. However, that's not what you were here to do. All these things that we do today on a regular basis is not what we're here to do. um and your ascendant energy is that energy that you were here to do. That is that that stripped down energy, that raw energy, and right now it's sitting in your heart. So for those of you guys who are going against your heart's nature and your initial agreements and your soul contract, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be pretty. You're going to start getting beat up. It's a beat up action. It's a beat up feeling. It's not going to be like a now this ain't it. No, it's things are going to get stronger. Hits are going to get harder. That's just what's happening right now, because we're at a space now, like, we're not just moving in a circle, we're moving upward. So as you're moving upward, your muscles have to get stronger. Like, you got to be more resilient. You got to be more determined. You got to be more. So that means while you're being more, that demand is becoming more too. That demand for you to come back to your soul contract, that demand for you to come back to your initial agreements, your initial self, your childlike self, that's getting louder and stronger and more resilient as well. So, be mindful of that. And it's also like a blessing that it is, right? Because it's like, dang, that means I'm on the path because you yelling at me now. That means I'm and the ascendant is in the second house right now, which is personal finances, material possessions, and concepts of value. All that stuff is, taking the little turn that it needs to take. It's sitting up in your heart. You're starting to, feel like, okay, well, this might need to be a little different. That might be a little different. Might have a change of heart in these different things. But it's really, it's really about what you want. This house also deals with the five senses, self-esteem, your physical environment, your priorities. All that stuff is sitting on your heart right now. So if certain things are not in alignment with, that list of things in that second house, it's not going to go well. So let's move on up to your throat chakra, which is the Shuddha, pure element. And we're dealing with the mouth, because the throat chakra is not just like literally your throat. It's also your mouth, tongue, neck, ears, thyroid, parathyroid, expression, communication, invocation, integrity, your morals. We're dealing with the O vowel sound. The ethers is the element that we deal with when we're dealing with your throat chakra. Your voice box has the ethers in them. Okay. Um, right. We know Eshu, which is Mercury, rules over the throat chakra, and right now it's in your root chakra right now. Your throat chakra is in your root chakra right now, speaking things into existence, speaking things into physical space. And it's also in retrograde right now. And the sidereal chart is sitting in your sacral chakra, that Sagittarian energy of pleasure seeking and stuff like that. But coming back to that, so like be mindful of your throat chakra because right now it's in a very powerful space. You know, if you being able to speak things into existence. I'm trying to come back to like controlling my throat chakra. I won't lie to you, the past couple weeks have been really, really difficult. Throat chakra is not just, you know, what you speak, is what you write, it's the voices in your head, it's, you know, decision making and pattern recognition and all that stuff is throat chakra, is Mercurian vibes essentially. But yeah, being mindful. Also, it's in the 5th house, which is that heart house. Creativity, romance, your inner child coming back out, all those different things. Speaking those things that your inner child wanted back into existence is a big thing right now. Like I said, journaling. Journal. Come back to your initial agreements in that realm with those things. On the feminine side of your throat chakra, for those of you guys that are watching on Instagram, they have this thing now where after like an hour, I'm being timed, so they're about to shut me off. You can come to YouTube. On the feminine side of your throat chakra, you have Gemini energy, which is the Beji twins. The Neteru is Sebek, which you have on the masculine and feminine side of your throat chakra. This is opposing forces, your left brain, the celestial text. We're dealing with the 8th sphere on the tree of life, which is labeling. Mars is on the feminine side of your throat chakra. Mars is your like your motivation, your ambition, your anger, you know, what gets you to those spaces and places of things, competition and passion, you know, physical activity, if you're going to be athletic, if you're not so athletic, you know, your animal instincts, how much energy you have, you know, how you express your passions. Also, if you ever get any cuts or accidents or anything like that, Mars is also the energy to go to. Right now it's sitting in the Beji twins, you know, opposing forces, the celestial text labeling. So you're being motivated to, you know, start to compartmentalize things, put, you know, certain people, places, and things in their proper place. You know, it can be triggering to do those things, as this is Mars energy that we're speaking of that's over here in this space. However, you will still be motivated to do so and keep it going. A lot of your desires are going to come from you separating things and starting to compartmentalize things. And even though this is where man's ill lies, where we can get so caught up in separating, you know, people, places, and things, this is also, you know, an energy that still has to be exercised nonetheless, because this is where classification comes from. This is where you're able to, you know, see what's for you and what's not for you. And then this energy is sitting in the 10th house, which is aspirations and achievements and all those different things. We also have the 11th house sitting in the Abeji twins. Now the 11th house is it helps you remember the purpose of your work and your humanitarian pursuits. If any planets are transiting through the 11th house, you're dealing with changes in occupation, most likely. Also, long-term goals, structure, status, reputation, group friends, social awareness, technology, hopes and wishes, the media, social justice, surprises, sudden events, astronomy, science fiction, revolutionary ideas. All that is 11th house energy. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Being motivated to do things like, you know, how I talked about earlier about creating like nurturing spaces and wanting to create better spaces and becoming more tapped into your tribe or your village and really like fine tuning your electromagnetic field to find those people you're supposed to be aligned with. You know, this is like, okay, now I'm speaking it into existence. Now I'm communicating it to existence. Like, I really want to find my tribe. I really want to, you know, fine tune my magnet to find those souls that I'm supposed to be around. And with that Mars in the 11th house energy sitting in your throat chakra, it'll be very helpful in doing that. Now, on the masculine side, the experiences, the external self of your root of your throat chakra, you're dealing with the second house energy, which is personal finances, material possessions, concepts of value, resources and self-esteem, you know, work ethic, income, priorities, habits, your five senses, all that fun stuff is sitting in that energy. And you know, that's, you know, really speaking those things into existence, writing those things down that you want to happen, that you want to experience, that you want for yourself, that you want to prioritize. Like I said, journaling is a big, 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 big thing. So the third eye, which is ajna, which is command beyond wisdom. This is located between the eyebrows. This is polarity, inner and outer self, intuition. This is your mind energy center, foresight. This right side of your brain, which is creative and spiritual. Also the left side of your brain, which is logical and rational, and imagination. We're dealing with the light element here. So the sun, Heru, is currently in Capricorn energy. And then the moon, all set, is currently in the Gemini energy. Yeah. I didn't put the zodiac energies on there. So Cancer is the feminine side of your third eye chakra. This is the energy of all set. This is the awareness of depth of being, learning, healing, nourishing, and trance. We're dealing with the ninth sphere in the tree of life, which is worldly events in the divine womb. This is where, like, in the divine womb, you know, all the different things are going on, being added. This is when you're in complete darkness before coming into the light, right? We have Palace here. Palace is the energy of, like, the different traits about self that you may overlook or you don't give much attention to and things because you don't think they're that big or that important, when in reality they are. And right now they're in retrograde. Well, Palace is in retrograde. So, you know, slowing down so you can catch up and really tap into, like, your energy and what you're good at and what's good for you, and, you know, your genius qualities. I say once you meditate, you know, those things that come to your forefront. Again, coming back to your inner child, your childlike self. What was your initial contract here? You know, those are usually the traits of self that you may overlook as those initial things. The 12th house is always also here. The 12th house deals with things that exist without physical form, like your dreams, secrets, and emotions, karmic relationships, you know, endings, healing, closure, spirituality, solitude, karma, afterlife, limiting beliefs, separation from society, you know, hidden agendas, secret enemies, imagination, creativity in the arts, film, dance, and poetry and journals. So a lot of that is coming out of from the third eye all around us. For those of you guys who have been tapped into the cloud and be getting all these creative ideas and all this different stuff, you know, a lot of that is lined with the genius qualities you may overlook. And then here comes the cloud right after you know, find once you find the realization of those qualities, then you start tapping into the creativity cloud from those qualities. You start, you know, seeing things for what it is. You know, a lot of secrets coming to the forefront of things. Some of those secrets are hard to digest, but they're, you know, that mindset of, oh yeah, this is happening again because of that, and this is happening again because of that, this, that, and the third. You know, it's coming so easy to you now because right now it's in the third eye, and these celestial terrors are in alignment for you to come forward, to come so easy to you. For those of you guys who are having a tough time, like, digesting everything, you know, I don't know. I don't know. The midheaven is like the midpoint of the sky. It's like it changes 1 degree or 69-mile radius every 4 minutes. And that's why it's important to know what time you were born. It takes about 2 hours for it to change a zodiac sign. But we started off the week with it in Cancer. You know, right now it's still in Cancer energy, your emotion energy. So midheaven rules your public image, your professional aspirations, and what will bring one to success. So you sitting there meditating and really thinking about, you know, your genius qualities and coming to your childlike self and tapping into the creative cloud and all that is going to bring you to that level of success you're trying to get to. So that's the whole thing in itself. On the masculine side of your third eye, we're dealing with the energy of Heru, which is will, courage, discipline. You're dealing with the upper and lower self, the sixth sphere in the tree of life, maintained through coordination and balance, the celestial government administrating. Okay, we have Lilith over there. That is the celestial body that's in the masculine self side of self, and this rules over your repressed sensuality, sexuality, your vulnerabilities, your fantasies, your temper triggers, what you dislike in others, usually reflecting yourself. This is your primal energy, your rebellious energy, all that different type of stuff. Astronomically speaking, it's the furthest point of the moon's orbit from the sun, where it's at. It's dark, the dark side, and that's why Lilith is given like a very dark, you know, type of connotation, because it is the dark side of the moon. You know, all those things you repress about yourself, they're going to come out. You're going to experience them, because as you're meditating on that palace, which are things you're overlooking, you're going to start looking at them. You're going to start looking at self. You're going to start experiencing yourself in different facets, in different ways. Your primal energy is going to start coming out. That inner child, that child that doesn't have any agreements with anything that society wanted, is going to start coming out. And yeah, it's going to get its head bumped a couple times, because a lot of people are going to want you to go back to the domesticated you. You're easier to take advantage of when you're domesticated. It's easier to disrespect you when you're domesticated, because you're domesticated into receiving the disrespect. But when you start, you know, breaking out of that, you know, children don't really take disrespect well. They like, why you do that? I don't like that. Don't do this again. Like, they do that. However, you know, they're still forgiving and resilient at the same token. You still gonna get those couple words before they get to that point. So, you know, all that different stuff is going to come out. That's going to be a part of your experience, you know, being triggered and having your temper touched and all that. That's going to be all a part of the experience. The first house is also in the masculine side of your third eye chakra, and this is your physical self. This is the body you were born in, coming back to that self before all the contracts, coming back to that self before you accepted all these agreements. Your goals and projects are starting to take form within the experience of your third eye. So all those different traits and qualities you're meditating on with your palace and your midheaven energy, when you get to the masculine energy of your third eye, you know, this first house is definitely going to bring it into fruition. It's going to start new beginnings and new initiatives for you, and that's very exciting. The moon is also on the masculine side of your third eye chakra. The moon is your feelings, your interpersonal self. This is who you are when you are most comfortable. This is your reactions, your how you interact with other feminine energy, where you've been. The alignment of your mind and heart is coming together here, and your experiences, and that's fun. And I'm really loving the alignment of the planets right now. That's really fun. Today is the 9th or the 10th? The 10th. Okay, so yesterday, actually, Venus entered Capricorn yesterday. Lilith entered Leo. Yeah, no, that's not yesterday. That's all December. I'm tripping. Ignore everything I just said. Ignore it all. So let's get into the crown chakra. Is the 1,000-petal lotus. Okay, the crown chakra is located at the crown of your head. This is consciousness, thoughts, wisdom, awareness, connection to the universe, serenity, seeing beauty in all things, enlightenment. Cosmos is the element. This is not necessarily ran by any one zodiac or planet. It's ran by the universe. This is where you get the Om or the energy. So I think Umi, I like the word Umi better than God, or even if we said the word love. Even that vowel sounds better than God. Like, what is the ah? What is that? I don't know. Y'all let me know. So now we can get into the weekly planetary forecast. What's happening in the planets today? So yesterday was January 9th, right? We were at the 95% waning gibbous moon. The moon rose at 7:23 a.m. and it set at 9:23 a.m. Or it rose at 7:23 p.m. The waning gibbous moon is the moon of retribution. This is the first moon phase after the full moon. It was actually pretty big last night. It was very pretty. It started off yellow at first. Clear space of tangible things that serve no purpose, and make amends to get rid of distractions and pay attention to what influences you during the waning gibbous moon. So during the waning gibbous moon, it's also good to have on your altar tiger's eye, citron, du mortierite. I'm sorry, that's not waning. Smoky quartz, black moonstone, rhodonite, pink kunzite, ruby and fuchsite, rose quartz, rhodochrosite, citron, and cypress. Those are good to have during a waning gibbous moon. And yesterday was Monday, so aquamarine, pearl, selenite, labradorite, moonstone, sapphire, silver, lemon, myrrh, sandalwood, and eucalyptus. Also great things to have on your altar on a Monday on a waning gibbous moon. The moon rose in Leo energy, so I'm a Leo rising, so my Leo was rising yesterday. I was on the one. The sun rose at 7:21 a.m. and it set at 4:51 p.m. Wasat was opposite the sun at 3:55 a.m. That was the best visibility of the year. For those of you guys who don't know what Wasat is, it is a white and purple binary star. Wasat is Arabic for the middle. It is a Saturn star, which gives off the energy of violence, destructiveness, chemicals, pessimism, and trouble, poison, and gas. That explains a lot because yesterday I was ready to go play in traffic. When we say opposition, what we're saying is, so the sun is in the middle and it's traveling straight, and the planets are circling around it. When a star is in opposition, it means that making a straight 180-degree line, you have Wasat, Earth in the middle, and then Sun on the other end. And that's what opposition is. And depending on the vibes of things, they may align with each other. Yesterday, because the Sun is still in Capricorn vibes, not Capricorn, the sun is still in Sagittarius constellation. It's in Capricorn zodiac. So we're still getting that root chakra energy. We still, in the zodiac, in the mind, we are dealing with the energy of challenges. And then with Wasat being the energy of, being the energy of violence and stuff like that, expected a lot of challenges yesterday. And, if not on the outside of self, then on the inside of self. Jupiter's moon's Io crosses his face at 7:02 p.m. Ganymede started at 7:13 p.m. And then at 8:20, Io's shadow went across Jupiter's face. January 10th, which is today, the moon rose at 8:24 p.m. Tonight it will, and it will be setting at 9:50 a.m. We are dealing with the waning gibbous moon still at 90%. Still in the moon of retribution. Still in the Leo moon as well. The sun rose at 7:21 a.m. The sun set at 4:52 p.m. So not too long ago. The moon and Regulus were at minimal angle at 11:15 a.m. The moon was 3.4 degrees north-northeast. Conjunction occurred at 8:46 a.m. The moon was 3.8 degrees north, and you're able to observe that at 6:35 a.m. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Regulus is the brightest star in the Leo constellation. So not only were we in the Leo zodiac, we were also in the Leo constellation. Regulus is one of the four horsemen stars. It's 4 stars in 2 pairs. It brings on the energy of glory, riches, power. It is a royal star. It's Latin for prince, little king, heart of the lion in Arabic. It brings on the energy of Mars and Jupiter, which is military, honor, generosity, ambition, being fond of power, and independent. Now, with minimal angles and conjunctions, is kind of like a new moon type energy. When the sun and moon are so much in alignment that you have a new moon, it's the same kind of energy. So this is like a new beginnings energy. A new pattern is occurring with moon and Regulus, bringing on the energy of generosity, ambition, being powerful, being independent, stuff like that. So what are you going to do with that new pattern that's being created, that new moon with Regulus being created? You do with that what thou wilt. The constellation Perseus is also in midheaven tonight. January 11th, which is tomorrow, we're at 84% wanting gibbous moon, still in that moon of retribution. The moon will rise at 9:25 p.m. and it will be setting at 10:13 a.m. It will be in the Virgo constellation. So tomorrow is Wednesday, and then the moon is entering Virgo zodiac energy. I didn't mean to say constellation. Virgo zodiac energy. So the best stones to have on a Wednesday is aventurine, mica, lavender, mint, and lemongrass are what you should have on your altar, whether in your bath, on your body, in your home, etc., etc. The sun will rise at 7:20 a.m. and it will be setting at 4:53 p.m. And then Aries, which we know is in Aries, that is our feminine energy of Aries, bringing on the energy of rebellion. It'll actually be in stationary before its prograde motion. So we're getting out of retrograde with the slowdown on the rebellion. So expect something crazy to happen. Somebody gonna push back. Maybe Kanye might come back when Aries goes back prograde. I think that like once Aries, Mars, and Mercury go back prograde, a lot of rebellion will be in play. A lot of different moves that people have been communicating in the dark are definitely going to come to light, and it's going to be some pushback. Yes, this is on YouTube as well, love. But that's what's happening tomorrow. Now on Thursday, January 12th, we'll be at 76% wanting gibbous moon. The retrograde will occur at 10:26 p.m. and not retrograde, the rise will occur at 10:26 p.m. The set will occur at 10:35 a.m. and we are still in the Virgo zodiac. Thursday, it's best to have amethyst, lepidolite, and star anise on your altar. The sun is going to rise at 7:20 a.m. and it's going to set at 4:55 p.m. Mars will be stationary on this day at 4:22 a.m. before prograde. So if you find yourself awake around 4:20 a.m., say a couple of words for Mars being in retrograde. I definitely will try to awake myself on Thursday to be present for this because Mars in retrograde definitely beat my ass. I learned my lesson, and I'm cool. I'm cool. Castor will be opposite the sun at 12:08 p.m. Again, creating that 180-degree line between Castor, Earth, and the sun. Best visibility of the year. For those of you guys who don't know, Castor is the star in the Gemini constellation. This is the mortal twin. It brings on the energy of Mercury, which is honor, intellect, and learning. And with the sun still being in Sagittarius constellation, because we haven't entered the constellation yet. So with the sun still being in Sagittarius constellation, we're definitely going to have learning experiences. Oh, thank you. We're definitely going to have learning experiences on Thursday, enlightenment. And then I love that it's happening on a Thursday too. Tahuti rules Thursday. That's Jupiter. That's Obatala energy of wisdom and intellect and things of that nature. And generosity and luck automatically come when you learn things, when you expand yourself in major ways. So keep your brain open on Thursday, especially when Mars goes stationary before the prograde. I see big things happening with that energy right there because Mars is in Gemini, so it's going to be something going on within your community that's going to be very eye-opening for you. The quadranteds, they're going to reach the end of their activity on Thursday. That's another meteor shower we'll be having closing up on us. Okay, this is the Comet. I didn't get there yet, but that is today too. So Comet C 2022 E3 CTF. That's this beautiful comet you see up here on the side. Oh, you can't see my It's to the north of the image. Those little white words you see up there. That is the comet. It's gonna reach midheaven and Corona Borealis. That's Corona Borealis. And if you look at the outline of that zodiac, it definitely looks like one of the square states out here, like Dakota or something. That whole like square of the sky, and that's how you know what is above is also below. But yes, that is a beautiful comet that we have. That comets bring on the energy of just sprinkling some things from the cosmos, bringing spiritual awareness, and just providing the minerals and things that we need down on our soil, like the meteor showers and all that fun stuff. So moving on to the next day. Oh, this is Mars. That's the pathway of Mars. It will be standing still all night, and it won't be moving back prograde until, a certain hour So we have Mars here. You know, it's been in retrograde. And, you know, the sky keeps moving, even though this little, whether you believe in the 178 dome, which this could very well be another 178 dome, or you believe that it's actual celestial body up and away, either way, you know, the constellations will be moving around it and it will be staying the same prior to it going prograde. All right. Um, but yeah, that's all January 12th energy. And that's where you can find Mars at if you're ever looking. It ain't going nowhere. Uh, January 13th, we have the 68% waning gibbous moon, still in the moon of retribution. The moon is going to rise at 11:28 p.m. at 94 degrees, and it'll set at 10:56 a.m. at 270 degrees. We're going to be in the Libra zodiac energy now. The sun is going to rise at 7:20 a.m. and sun will be setting at 4:56 p.m. So if you notice, we started the week off with a 7:21 a.m. and a 4:51 p.m. sunrise sunset. And by the time we get to Friday, we got a 7:20 a.m. sunrise and a 4:56 p.m. sunset. So we got 5 minutes, y'all. We get 5 minutes of sunlight within these next 5 days, and that's exciting. Procyon will be opposite the sun at 1 p.m. It'll be the best visibility of the year. Procyon is a yellow star. It's the brightest star in the Canis Minor constellation. That's the little doggy. It brings on the energy of activity and violence and hydrophobia. So expect, you know, I've seen some different things happening with mudslides, but definitely some type of flood or some type of precipitation is going to take over on Friday in some area of the land. Also dealing with dog bites, some type of attack by a dog, because, you know, this deals with Canis and Sirius is not too far off. This brings on the vibes of Mercury and Mars, which is argumentative, exaggerating, unreliable, you know, also a good talker, hasty and jealous, being hot-tempered, and power against witchcraft if you need it. Be definitely a good day to tap into it on Friday. And as far as it being Friday as well, to have on your altar, the best things to have would be lapis, chrysocolla, malachite, jade, azurite, copper, vanilla, rose, spearmint, and spikenard. In addition to that, the moon in Parima will be at minimal angle at 5:38 p.m. The moon will be 0.7 degrees south-southwest. Conjunction is going to occur at 6:06 p.m. The moon will be 0.8 degrees south, and you'll be able to observe that at 11:48 p.m. with a 3.9 degrees southeast separation. Parima is in the Virgo constellation. It is a way out awa, which means temple or mosque in Arabic. It brings on the energy of Mercury and Venus. It rules over the left kidney. And this is the energy of medicine. It's a good time to marry and travel and plant things. And, you know, Mercury and Venus is kind of like that bougie, you know, heart chakra vibe. You know, I love nice things, intellectual type of energy, being upstanding and outstanding, you know, reliable, you know, all that type of energy. This is a different channel. This is my Less Nobodies channel. If you see that little thing scrolling at the bottom of the screen where it says Less Nobodies, that's how you would spell it. That's how you can find me on YouTube. And yeah, so that's what's happening with the moon and Parima. So even though we're in the Libra zodiac, we are in the Virgo constellation. So that's what's happening with that. And did I go over Saturdays? No. So January 14th is Saturday. We're at the 58% waning gibbous moon. There is no exact time for rising, but we will be setting at 11:18 a.m. at the 262 degrees. We are still in the Libra zodiac energy. The sun will rise at 7:20 a.m. and will be setting at 4:57 p.m. There will be a morning visibility of Mercury, so you'll be able to see my friend out there. Saturn and Deneb al-Jheldi will be minimal angle at 10:34 a.m. Saturn will be 1.4 degrees north-northwest, and you'll be able to observe that at 3:45 11:44 p.m. So we have another new pattern happening on Friday with Saturn and Deneb El Jeldi, okay? So again, like I told you guys before, whenever there's a minimal angle or conjunction, that is like a new moon happening with those, planets or, celestial bodies that are involved, okay? So this is another new moon, a new beginning between Saturn, which is the planet of authority, order, infrastructure, challenges, all that stuff right there. And Deneb El Jeldi is the star of Capricorn. So a new beginning happening in your root chakra is a big deal. Peace. This brings on the energy of Saturn and Jupiter. So you can see these two celestial bodies, they're going to work together, okay? Being dignified, pious, and conservative. Deneb El Jeldi is located at the tail of the goat. This is the energy of happiness. This also controls the blood vessels and the nerve connections and prevents execution of governments. So you might see, for those of you guys who are into conspiracies, you might see some energy associated with Saturn. Some, if you add up the letters of Saturn, I don't know them off the top of my head, so I'm not about to play this game right now. But once I get better at it, I'll be able to incorporate numerology and geometry in my planetary forecast. But when you add up the letters of Saturn to the number that it needs to be, I'm pretty sure you'll start seeing numbers like that on television in order to provide protection for the government to keep it going how it's been going. Lately we've been seeing a lot of threes with these different players dropping and different things like that, which is very sad to see. But the cosmos, whether it's the cosmos or man, either way, there's patterns in all things, okay? But that energy is going. That'll be a new moon with Saturn and Deneb El Jeldi, bringing on that, that pious energy. The last quarter moon is going to rise at 9:11 p.m. on January 14th. For those of you guys who are not in alignment with the last quarter moon is the moon of transition. So at this point in time, you want to journal, like, what are your goals? What are some changes that you need to make to achieve them, and use some lessons that you've learned during all this Tahuti energy we've been in to further yourself. Okay. Yes, everything is most definitely in the stars. Pollux will also be opposite the sun, which again creating that 180-degree straight line at 11:43 p.m. And that'll be the best visibility of the year. Pollux is the immortal twin in the Gemini constellation, and this is the energy of Mars. Now we're bringing on hubris, violence, bravery, also being rash, and also a strong sense of loyalty and connectivity. So tapping into your community on Friday, maybe I know Friday people automatically want to go out together and stuff like that anyway, but definitely with that Libra moon energy and Pollux being, at opposition, all that different type of energy, it probably, make you want to be around community or be, in a village type setting, go out and socialize. That's natural. January 15th, which is Saturday, we'll be at the 49% last quarter of the moon. The moon is going to rise at 12:32 a.m. and it's going to set at 11:41 a.m. We're still going to be in that Libra zodiac energy. The sun is going to rise at 7:19 a.m. and it's going to set at 4:58 p.m. The moon and Spica will be in conjunction. So we have another new moon, another new pattern happening. This will be at 5:39 p.m. Moon will be 3.3 degrees north. Minimal angle will occur at 7:23 p.m. The moon is 3.1 degrees north northeast, and we'll be able to observe that at 1:03 a.m. with a 4.5 degree east northeast separation. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Spica is in the Virgo constellation. So even though we're in the Libra zodiac, we're still in the Virgo constellation. This is actually the brightest star in the Virgo constellation, and the 15th brightest star in our, solar system. It's located in the ear grain in the constellation. It brings on the energy of success, riches, love of art. The electromagnetic energy of Venus and Mars align, so it's like that aggressiveness and ambition and energy in alignment with love, romance, and the appreciation of beauty. Okay. What else do we got? The west side of the moon, which is crater Grimaldi, will be tipped into view. The sun will enter Capricorn constellation in the sidereal chart on January 15th. So even though in the tropical chart we've been in, Capricorn, we will just be entering Capricorn constellation on the 15th. So that's exciting. Oh yeah, that's the star in the Canis Minor constellation. Palace will also be going prograde and will reach midheaven by midnight on Saturday. Oh, well, Sunday. I'm sorry, this is Sunday. And on your altars on Sunday, diamond, citron, sulfur, copal, gold, amber, carnelian, benzoin, frankincense, cinnamon, and rosemary are the best things to have on your altar. And when dealing with the last quarter moon, it's best to have rose quartz, clear quartz, sodalite, aquamarine, obsidian, bronzonite, and frankincense on your altar as well. So that's what's happening on Sunday. So back to Monday, January 16th. We are at 37% waning crescent moon. The moon is going to rise at 1:40 a.m. and it's going to set at 12:09 p.m. We are now in the Scorpio zodiac energy. And for those of you guys who don't know, the waning crescent moon, I said waning, right? Yeah. It is the energy of cleansing. This is the moon of cleansing. This is the last phase of cycle. This is time to let go inward, reflect, and plan. We are making our way to the new moon. And the best things to have on your altar during a waning crescent moon is bloodstone, tourmaline quartz, amethyst, apatite, carnelian, chrysoprase, selenite, clear quartz, and white sage. All right. Peace. So Monday. Sunrise will be at 7:19 a.m. The sun will set at 4:59 p.m. The moon in Zubin El Janubi, minimal angle and conjunction, is occurring on Monday. So we have another new beginning, new pattern happening. The minimal angle will occur at 11:42 a.m. The moon will be 1.7 degrees south-southwest. Conjunction will be at 12:55 p.m. The moon will be 1.8 degrees south, and we'll be able to observe that at 6:32 a.m. with a 2.6 degree west-southwest separation. And for those of you who don't know about Zubin El Janubi, that is actually a star in the Libra constellation. So even though we're in the Scorpio zodiac, we are still in the Libra constellation, you guys. This is the energy of the southern scale when it was in the Libra, in the southern claw in the Scorpio, because there was a little bit of colonization that happened in the cosmos too in the 1800s. The redemption of captives. It also brings on the aggressive, ambitious, cardinal energy of Saturn and Mars, energy that keeps you going, that extra push and things like that. If that's what you need, Monday will definitely be the day to receive it. And that's pretty much it for this week as far as the planetary forecast goes. Mercury goes in prograde on Wednesday, January 18th at 8:51 a.m. if you want to prepare yourself for that. The new moon will occur on January 21st. It will be rising at 3:54 p.m. So if you guys want to, mark your calendars for the next new moon and the next prograde. But we're bringing a lot of retrogrades to a close because, as you know, as we prepare ourselves for the Aquarius zodiac in the Aquarius constellation, we kind of move more towards getting kind of active. Now our Kundalini is starting to awaken. The dirt outside is starting to defrost and get cold and moist instead of dry and cold. All these little things are starting to awaken and starting to move and starting to get life. So with that being said, a lot of the retrogrades are going to cease and go prograde, and the meteor showers of the winter time that was keeping us oil together during the cold and dry energy, we're going to start to get different constellation meteor showers for the springtime, bringing life for when the sun is coming in Aries season. So you'll start to see a pattern with how the cosmos really move in alignment with the seasons that we have, and you'll start to see how a lot of our traditions as a society is in alignment with that, which it has been, since the Sumerians. A lot of things that we do have been, I won't call them watered down, but as empires take over other empires, the first thing they do is try to control the minds of the people. You control the minds with the books, with the religion and the education. And if you can control the minds of the people, you can control the bodies of the people. So a lot of our mindsets have been geared towards Christianity and paganism and, those two main things. So, even though our minds are geared towards those two main things, the actions are still in alignment with nature. We still feel those things, even though capitalism tries to pull us away from nature, but it is what it is. Anyway, thank you guys for tapping into my planetary forecast. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. For those of you guys that are just tuning in, you'll be able to have access to this video on YouTube. The first half of this video is available on Instagram, but like I said, they have this thing now where they're like time you, and after an hour they cut you off. So it's kind of hard to get this down to an hour, but I was able to get this down to an hour and 40 minutes. So that's a plus, you know. Tomorrow I'll be coming back to the hump day reading. So if you guys are interested in receiving a hump day reading, you guys can go ahead and message me on Instagram at Less Nobody's Business LLC. Make sure you guys subscribe to my website, lessnobodiescollection.com. I do have a code up there now. Oh yeah, this is the new moon that we will be expecting. And if you use this code on my website, you'll receive $11 off any products or services on the website. That includes the natal tarot readings that I was talking about in the beginning of this and everything in between. So again, thank you guys for tapping in. I appreciate y'all. This was fun.